Hope you enjoyed the film, but let me be the first to tell you this was obviously written by someone who has a deep understanding of the film industry. So I'm going to talk to DP and find out what his actual background is.
I've been part of this industry for 14 years now. 15
That
going.
makes perfect sense.
Yes. And I've seen this world, I've lived this world, I've seen my friends go through this. But I have to admit it was not my script. I've not written this
Really?
script. No.
But you must have had some very active input, because there is that sense of someone being trapped in a room, writers trying to collaborate. I mean, this is a scene that plays itself out time and again in the real world.
Yeah, absolutely right. The first time that I was hooked to the idea, but I didn't like the script. So the script went through 12 rewrites because I knew the world well and I wanted it to accurately depict what happens in our world. So I got I had a very enthusiastic first time writer. So every time I asked him to go back and rewrite, he would do more than required and come back. So we actually, before anything, we had 12 drafts of the script.
Bloody hell.
And then we met the producer who gave us more ideas, so we went for another 4 drafts of the film.
My God. And it's so easy that the audience just looks at a film and in 5 seconds makes up their mind. Arey, ye bakwas picture thi, ye sahi tha, whatever, in 2 seconds, not realizing the pain that one goes through, so many drafts, so many versions to get to where you want to.
But Nagesh, you know, this was the first time that I got the opportunity to do something like this. And I really enjoyed the process. Like, I just loved the writing process. I was not in a hurry. I just enjoyed every process in itself. Like, we were not even sure if we could shoot this film. So we did like rehearsals, and I would enjoy the rehearsals, and we would like say, yeah man, banani chahiye. Like, it was never that ye film nahi banegi to maza nahi aayega. We were just enjoying every process, and suddenly we had a film.
But did you actively design it as, okay, I want to do a short film, I want to take it out? See, because these days, short films have a proper life, thanks to the internet. Because there are people who promote these films, there are audiences who have the patience to watch them. So did you consciously, because there is an element of designing a film. Was that part of the process?
Actually, no. In fact, like I said, I was not even sure if we could shoot this film, because once we had the script, we realized that it's a night film. We can't shoot on a 5D or a 1D because it'll become too dark for the audience to see.
Right.
So I need a proper camera. I need to light it up properly because I don't want to make a dark film with nobody can see. So from that perspective, we were very true. We just want, and idea was to entertain ourselves. We were our toughest critics. So we did everything that we liked. And yes, once the film was complete, again, it was a surprise, you know, because we never knew this world of I never knew this world of short films.
Achha, so there wasn't the prior knowledge that went into, because what I've seen as this, like I mentioned earlier, the short film grows as an art form. It's finding audiences legitimately in every major festival. People are able to monetize these films on the internet. You know, there are many, many avenues. I'm finding that people are now designing short films for the internet, which is the bad side of it.
If you can make it work, well, good luck to you.
Right.
I'm not that confident that I can design something to make look good. I rather go with something I know and I feel very strongly about, and then try and make affect people with that idea, rather than trying to get an idea which will affect people.
Coming back to the writing, I had one more question. There was a very strong sense of the language being northern. I'm not saying Delhi or whatever. Was that because the writer was from there?
No.
Or because
the writer is a Oriya guy.
What?
Yeah, and he's from Odisha.
So that's because of you then?
Yeah, so I've stayed in North India and I've stayed in South India. So I might not be able to speak the way they speak, but I know when somebody speaks in the right dialect. So I know what is right and wrong. So that's the knowledge that I use. So I just went by my ear, and I didn't want to overdo anything. You know, there's a...
Absolutely.
So I had to hold that line where, you know, somebody's been in Bombay for a year, but you still know that ye South India guy or wo North India guy, you know.
100%. And what about the actor with the big hair? What's his name? I'm sorry?
Aaron.
Aaron. Is he from here?
He's a Bandra boy, actually.
and you got him to do a perfect North Indian accent.
He did the South Indian, Gurpreet.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm talking about
Both are
Gurpreet.
big. Actually, both are big.
No, the guy who removes that and suddenly his hair goes.
Yes.
But he's from the north.
He's from the north. He's actually from Chandigarh. So the boys from Chandigarh, they have very nice Hindi but very bad Punjabi. And he's a proper theatre actor. So he's got a lot of Urdu. His diction is very correct.
I loved the line that he walked because, like you said, this overdoing of the Northy accent, that crap never happened.
Yes.
And I loved the line that he walked. I thought he was extremely honest. The Bandra boy, of course, had a lot of the funnier lines.
Yes.
So, one ends up laughing with him. Where did you shoot this film?
We shot it in a room in Mud Island. We got an empty room.
You propped it and
we like my ADs got their stuff from home and I got stuff from home, and it was like a proper घर की film. सब अपने घर से सामान ला रहे थे.
And what did you end up? Sorry to interrupt you, but what did you end up spending on the film? I'm just curious.
The thing is that I had very generous producers. My producer was Vijay Maurya, who's won a national award for.
Vijay's acted in 2 of my films, including the most recent.
The thing is that I actually wanted him to just write a song for me. So I just went and I gave him the script and I said, this is the script, and he went through it and he said, dude, क्या करने वाला? मैं बोला, sir, ऐसे ही बना, नहीं, ऐसा मत बना. And he actually got his wife and they, I think, pumped in about 7-8 lakhs.
Wow.
But that's primarily for lights, camera, and they were so nice that nobody was getting paid, but they made sure that we had catering. People were getting chai, because we were shooting for 12-14 hours from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock in the morning. So, it's a very common thing that since we are on low budget, the producers will try to cut corners.
Skimp on everything.
But they took so good care of us and they were so nice, and we got the opportunity to go to one of the finest post-production facilities in Bombay and post-produce our film. We got like national award-winning sound designers and people coming in and working on the film.
And all this makes a huge difference on a small film especially.
Nagesh, for me, I had worked in this industry for 14 years. And I was always feeling a little incomplete because I used to get money, but ADs, you never get recognition, you never get anything more than money at the end of the project.
Yeah.
But with this film, I realized what I had earned in 14 years. I had earned goodwill, I had earned friendships, I had earned talent. And it was a big realization for me that, these 14 years have not gone in vain. I have really earned something in this industry.
And you were able to capitalize on all of that too.
I'm so thankful to God that I was able to, because a lot of people had put in a lot of hard work, and because of my oversight, if I'd kind of messed it up, which has happened before. I've made a film which has never seen the light of day because I myself was not happy with it.
Okay.
So I'm so happy that this one was like, I'm very satisfied with what we did. I don't think we could have done anything more in the circumstances and the scenarios that were given to us.
What I like best about the film is it did not have some clever little finish which every short filmmaker feels compelled to. Because you always feel that especially when you're playing in the short film format, at the end you need to smack the audience into going, oh wow.
Yes.
And it's not a bad ending, but I find that in trying to pursue that ending, they compromise on a lot, just to get there. This one doesn't really have an ending, but it's a wonderful slice of life, and obviously I enjoyed it way, way more than a lot of other people might, because I'm closely associated with the industry and that whole process.
And I'm enjoying this a lot because it's coming from you.
No, I really mean it. The thing is simple. For every 1,000 people who toil away, unknown, one person might make it. So you don't realize what goes on behind the scenes, how, that conversation he was having with the prop master or the art director, some bhai it was, where he was asking him for those garlands. I mean, the stupidity of the things that you're asked to do on a continual basis. I enjoyed these little nuances. If you had to pick the most difficult moment in the film, either directing, acting, directing, staging, directing actors, whatever, what was it and why?
There was a challenge in the film. The challenge in the film was that we had to shoot axis-wise. And I had to do blocking for 19 minutes. So I had to be very clear in my mind what dialogues are going to be said where. That was a big challenge, and continuity was a big challenge because we were shooting axis-wise and not
Got it, not going script-wise.
Yeah, script-wise. So I'm very happy that my team and me, we were able to maintain continuity, and we got it right. Our planning was right. There was a big discovery in this film for me, which I'd like to share with all my viewers. You know, there's a dialogue कि जब तक तू डायरेक्टर बनेगा ना, ये दो बच्चों की माँ बन जाएगी. Well, you know, after that film when I watched it and I said, you know, if somebody had told me कि तुझे 14 साल लगेंगे डायरेक्टर बनने में, मैं पहले दिन भाग जाता.
Correct.
But that's the fact. You
that's
know,
the madness.
It takes time, but when you get there, you know that अभी ठीक है, अपने ठीक टाइम पे सही जगह पहुंच गए.
मैं कुछ और कहूँगा. I feel that as much as you know, it's a cliche. Only the tough get there.
Actually, survival of the fittest, and it is required because there is so much clutter.
Absolutely.
You know, to break the clutter, you've got to do something special, and I like this system. You know, if you have the hunger, you got to prove it. Like you've done it with Hyderabad Blues. We can't keep cribbing saying there's too much competition. You have to break the clutter and then start cribbing.
Absolutely. A lot of people who get into the business, I tell them, don't worry about all the trappings, don't worry about all the stuff that comes later. Just focus on getting a film made. And if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out how. There's no magic formula. आप ऐसे कर दो तो film बन जाएगी. तो that never ever happens. So just focus on getting your film made. For me again, I liked the constant thing which writers do, which and I'm talking a lot about writing on this film, which is very interesting, is you don't end up writing in an entire night of just shooting the breeze. And just recently there was Suleimani Kida, which also focused on the same thing. And for me, I found your film as entertaining because it was just about the mundane bloody situations people face, and it's so much easier to drink 4 bottles of beer than face up to the truth, then face up to the fact that you might be a terrible writer. Then
and went after 4 bottles of beer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I've been like we were discussing earlier, I've been a fan of that simple kind of filmmaking, the Rishikesh Mukherjees, the Sai Paranjpes, and this is my ode to them.
Got it.
I wanted to keep it subtle. I don't want anybody to see where the director is. I don't want anybody to see where the camera is.
Right.
I'll make an action film and I'll show you what I can do. But this one was all about story, all about actors, all about just making an entertaining film that the audience enjoys.
Right. You know, I just remembered that comment that you said about keeping everything straight on the axis. One of the things that I'm seeing emerging with a lot of American TV shows these days is the fact that they are constantly jumping the axis on purpose. Okay? Very interesting because I still haven't picked up the courage. I did it only in Lakshmi. I did it on purpose to see if I'd have the guts, and I didn't shoot any safeties. I jumped the axis on purpose. And it's a very interesting thing that, and this might be technical and most of the audience might not care, but you, as long as you keep the perspective right, the audience doesn't care whether you're looking camera right or left. And that is good storytelling. So
Nagesh, if you know your edit, if you know what shot is coming before this, then it's even, you know, it's easier for us to judge. And we like really this axis jump and all, I've been, 14 years, but really, I don't really know this funda of axis jump still, and I don't bother myself. It's a DOP job. He will tell me if I'm doing something wrong. Otherwise, I'm going to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before I let you go, let's talk briefly about the music and tell me what prompted your choices in the film.
I wanted, music is a very important layer, a very important ingredient, but I didn't want it to be overpowering. I just wanted to support what's happening on screen.
Right.
Be there without people knowing it. At this one point, it's becoming overpowering when he gets up and he wants to do this. And to be very frank, I had a new, fresh music director called Atif, and just little tweaks here and there, and he basically got the brief right. He got the film. He felt the film. And I have very little to do with what he's done. It's all his. The credit is all for the music director. He got the brief right very, very quickly.
So you're not one of those directors who takes the credit for everything.
I wish.
No, because I see that a lot in this industry where the collaborative process is completely ignored and people just say कि मैं
उसके लिए बहुत सारा टैलेंट चाहिए, मेरे को तो उतना टैलेंट है नहीं.
and understanding that is the first step to actually making a good film. When you realize your shortcomings and you bring in the right people to fill that hole. That's a smart director.
It's all about I do a lot of advertising. Advertising constantly reminds us of that. There's a standard in advertising because there is a set of people that they get together, and so there's a level and there's a quality to advertising. And the same thing can be done in films. If you just get the right people together, then there will be a quality. Good, bad, very good is.
It's relative.
Yes.
It's relative, and I'm going to give you an unsolicited piece of advice before I let you go. Listen to people, but first listen to your instinct.
Thank you so much, Nagesh.
And that will allow you to make good films.
I think one of the biggest things that happened to this film is that I got an opportunity to talk to you, and I really also need to thank Pocket Films because they were one of the surprises too, because this was the first film that I did.
Okay.
And they, like other people, they also came like angels, and they said that we'll take your film. And with this film, I've learned all about these platforms that you were talking about, the new wave of new short films, and also, thanks to Pocket Films that I'm getting to do this with you.
Wonderful. All the very best. Thank you for coming and chatting about What the Film. And I wish you success for your next short film or your feature.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was What the Film and DP Singh. Stay tuned for more interesting short films on Prime Talkers with Pocket Films.